Your goals are the chains that keep you obedient. You chase them like a dog runs after a bone, never realizing the leash is around your own neck. Today, I will show you the method that frees you from ambition's illusion and gives you something greater than goals control. In the quiet hours of night, the world's most powerful minds do not dream of goals. They calculate. They do not write lists. They move pieces. While the weak announce their desires to the wind, the strong operate in silence, shaping outcomes through leverage and perception. You have been told to set goals, to define your purpose, to plan your life like a map drawn by a child who believes every road is straight. But tell me, how many times have your goals become prisons? How often have you mistaken the bars of discipline for the walls of destiny? You chase something you believe will free you, a position, a number, a name, but in truth, you are not pursuing power. You are being led by it. Goals make you visible, predictable. They give others the blueprint to your mind. And once people know what you want, they can lead you anywhere. This is the first law of psychological warfare. He who reveals his ambition exposes his leash. Consider the ambitious noblemen of Renaissance courts. They declared their intentions openly, to rise, to serve, to rule. And so their enemies knew exactly which dreams to feed, which fears to ignite, which rewards to promise. They were ruled not by princes, but by the very goals they could not let go of. Those who survived did the opposite. They learned to conceal their hunger. They smiled when outmaneuvered, appeared content when denied, and waited, quietly, until the perfect opportunity appeared. For power is not taken by those who declare, it is taken by those who observe. You may think your modern world is different. It is not. Every time you announce your goal, to your peers, your manager, your followers, you give them a lever. They know what to promise you, what to deny you, what to dangle before you to keep you obedient. The world rewards ambition only to control it. Look closely at any workplace, any hierarchy, any digital stage. You'll find that those shouting their goals the loudest climb the slowest. Because they move in straight lines. And straight lines are easy to trap. The strategist, however, moves in curves. He understands that visibility kills advantage. He pretends to aim one way, while quietly building power in another. He has no fixed goal, only directions of opportunity. A goal is rigid, power is fluid. And this is why most people remain servants of their own plans. They confuse motion with control, ambition with dominance. They believe clarity is strength, when in truth, it's exposure. Ask yourself, who profits when your goals are known? Who benefits when you announce your next move? Those above you, who now know exactly how to manipulate your rewards, and those below you, who now know where to strike. A general who declares his target invites ambush. A politician who reveals his vision too early invites betrayal. A man who shares his desires gives his rivals the map to his heart. Even love, the most intimate battlefield, obeys the same rule. The one who reveals what they want too soon, commitment, validation, admiration, becomes the weaker side of the equation. The other now holds the emotional leverage. And so power in every form begins with silence, a silence filled with calculation, not fear. This silence is misunderstood by the masses. They call it coldness, secrecy, arrogance. But it is none of these. It is self-defense. You see, the goal-driven man becomes desperate when life refuses to obey his plan. He bends, he panics, he chases shortcuts. He measures his worth by progress on a line that was never drawn by his own hand. And when the line collapses, so does his identity. But the strategist does not collapse, because he never confined himself to a single outcome. He plays life as a game of positions, not dreams. He is willing to appear idle if it grants him leverage tomorrow. He is content to seem lost while others sprint in circles. In truth, he is free precisely because he does not chase freedom. He understands what most will never accept, that control over direction is far more powerful than commitment to destination. So delete your goals. Yes, delete them. Not because ambition is wrong, but because it must be hidden, fragmented, and fluid. Write strategies instead. Build habits that move you in silence. Detach your pride from outcomes and attach it to mastery of movement. Power does not come to those who want. It comes to those who wait intelligently. In a world obsessed with progress, learn the rare art of invisibility. When others demand to know your goals, smile. Give them a pleasant fiction. Let them believe you are predictable. While behind that smile, your real plan unfolds unseen. That is how empires are built. That is how rivals are outplayed. That is how power is maintained, not by chasing goals, but by mastering those who chase them. Now, if you understand this, you are ready for the next lesson. Because once you've escaped the cage of goals, you must confront the next illusion, desire itself. Desire is the most dangerous illusion ever sold to man. It feels like fire, bright, alive, unstoppable. But like all fires, it consumes the one who carries it. You were told desire is your strength. That passion drives success. That wanting something badly enough will make the universe obey you. The truth is colder. The universe does not reward desire, it uses it. And the ones who learn to calculate instead of crave, they become the true masters of movement. Desire is chaos. Calculation is control. Every tyrant, every manipulator, every strategist who rose above the masses understood this difference. They did not want power. They measured it. They did not act from impulse. They acted from position. Look at history. Kings fell not because they lacked ambition, but because they let desire rule their judgment. They fought wars they could not win, pursued lovers they could not keep, trusted allies they should have destroyed. Desire blinds, calculation sees. Consider Caesar. He desired the crown, and for that he bled beneath the blades of those who once swore loyalty. Had he calculated instead of desired, he would have ruled from the shadows, with power disguised as humility. But desire made him visible, and visibility invites betrayal. You make the same mistake, though your empire is smaller. You desire recognition, validation, success. You believe passion will make you unstoppable, but passion only makes you readable. When you want too much, others learn how to move you. They sense your hunger, and they feed it, until your actions serve their ends, not yours. This is how corporations rule consumers, how leaders rule followers, how lovers rule the insecure. The more you want, the easier you are to command. So ask yourself, who truly benefits from your desire? The seller or the buyer? The leader or the believer? The manipulator or the one convinced he's following his heart? Desire makes slaves of intelligent men. Calculation makes kings of silent ones. The difference is simple but brutal. Desire asks, what do I want? Calculation asks, what moves the world, and how can I use it? The first question feeds emotion. The second commands reality. When you replace desire with calculation, you begin to think like a strategist, not a dreamer. You no longer chase outcomes, you create conditions. You stop fighting battles of feeling and start building frameworks of inevitability. Think of it like chess. The passionate player sees victory. The calculating player sees patterns. He doesn't move for desire, he moves for advantage. Every move he makes has 3 hidden purposes, each designed to trap the emotional fool who believes he's winning. You must learn to play life the same way. Each decision should serve more than one end. Every word should build more than one perception. Every action should strengthen your position in ways others cannot see. Desire seeks immediate satisfaction. Calculation builds inevitable dominance. When you eliminate desire, something extraordinary happens. You stop being reactive. You begin to think with distance, with emotional coldness that others mistake for mystery. And in a world where everyone screams their needs, the silent man becomes the one everyone watches. People will call you detached. They'll say you've lost your passion. But what they don't understand is that you've gained something higher, precision. A calculating mind moves with surgical focus. It acts when probability aligns, not when feelings demand it. It delays gratification, not out of fear, but out of power. Because true control is not about suppressing emotion. It's about using it. Imagine a negotiator who shows no urgency, no hunger for the deal. The other side grows uneasy, desperate to please him. He controls the pace because he has nothing to lose. His detachment becomes dominance. That is the essence of calculation, appearing indifferent while guiding the game. Now think of your own life. How often have you lost leverage because you cared too much? How many times did emotion push you into choices that reason would never allow? The world belongs to those who wait for timing to serve them, not to those who try to force it. Calculation is not slow, it's deliberate. It's the art of setting traps without appearing to, of smiling while others waste energy on passion and pride. So learn to replace "I want" with "plan." Replace "I feel" with "I evaluate." Replace "I hope" with "I prepare." The result is freedom, the kind that terrifies those still ruled by desire. Because once you no longer crave outcomes, you become unpredictable. And unpredictability is the shadow of power. You will see emotion burning in others like torches in the dark, but yours will be the quiet glow of strategy, calm, precise, unshakable. Now, the question remains. Once you've silenced desire, how do you move in a world built on it? The answer lies in the next lesson. Control through flexibility. The weak crave stability. The powerful crave control. But the rarest minds understand something greater. That control is born from flexibility. You've been told to stand firm, to never change your path, to stay true to yourself. But those who never bend are the first to break. History is filled with rigid men buried under the weight of their own convictions. Empires fell not because they lacked strength, but because they refused to shift when the world changed its rhythm. The powerful do not cling to consistency. They adapt with precision. They wear masks when necessary and discard them without hesitation. Tree that will not bend in the storm is torn from the earth, but a serpent slithers through it, untouched, silent, alive. Tell me, which one rules the forest longer? In the game of power, flexibility is not weakness. It is camouflage. It is how you survive long enough to command the battlefield. Look at the Medici of Florence. They survived centuries not by force, but by adjustment. When the church dominated, they bowed to the cross. When commerce rose, they traded gold. When art ruled hearts, they became patrons. They shifted forms without shame, because their loyalty was never to image, but to influence. That is true power, the ability to change shape while others worship identity. But modern minds have forgotten this art. You are told to be authentic, as if constancy is a virtue. In truth, it's a chain. Your predictability is a weapon in your enemy's hand. When people can forecast your reaction, they can control it. When they know your beliefs never bend, they know exactly which strings to pull. Flexibility, on the other hand, breeds mystery. It makes you unreadable, ungraspable, dangerous. Ask yourself, do you want to be understood or obeyed? Do you want to be consistent or effective? The great strategist does not cling to roles. He moves between them like water between stones, soft when necessary, hard when required. He can be servant or sovereign, depending on which grants the most leverage. Flexibility allows him to play both sides of any conflict, to promise one thing and deliver another, without being trapped by emotion or ideology. The masses call this hypocrisy. But in truth, it is adaptation, the highest form of intelligence. Consider the diplomat who smiles at both enemies before they destroy each other, the businessman who shifts his values with the market but keeps his fortune intact, the leader who speaks in the language of morality while acting in the logic of dominance. These are not deceivers. They are survivors. They know that the world does not reward those who are right. It rewards those who remain standing. To be flexible is to be untouchable, because nothing can corner what constantly changes form. Think of water. It can slip through cracks or carve through stone. It adapts to every container, yet loses none of its essence. That is how the powerful must think. Rigidity is ego disguised as strength. It comes from the desire to appear consistent, to maintain an image of integrity. But integrity without intelligence is suicide. You must learn to shift without losing yourself. The surface changes, the core remains. The mask changes, the intent endures. This is the essence of controlled adaptability, strategic metamorphosis. You play different roles, but every role serves the same quiet purpose, expansion of influence. Psychologically, flexibility disarms others. They cannot anchor you in one identity, one category, one reaction. It confuses them, and confusion is the seed of control. Imagine an argument. Your opponent expects resistance, but instead, you agree. You disarm him with concession, only to lead him where you wanted all along. This is not surrender. It's strategic softness, the art of guiding through yielding. This is why the most dangerous men are calm. They adapt to every blow, absorb every attack, and redirect it. You can't destroy what refuses to meet you head-on. To practice flexibility, you must abandon the need for emotional validation. Stop needing to look strong. Start learning to be strong, silently, invisibly, effectively. There will be moments when pretending to lose gives you more than winning ever could. Moments when silence speaks louder than declaration. Moments when retreat positions you to strike later unseen. These moments define the strategist. So, bend when others resist. Shift when others freeze. Adapt while others argue over right and wrong. Because the one who adapts rules the outcome. He does not resist the current, he redirects it. Control through flexibility means this: you no longer fight the storm. You become the wind. Ambition is the most useful illusion a man can wear. It convinces others that you are striving, chasing, hungering, while inside you remain still, calculating. To appear driven, but stay detached, is the art of kings who ruled men's hearts without being ruled by their own. The world rewards ambition publicly, but privately it devours those who feel too much of it. The wise understand this paradox. They use ambition as armor, not identity. You've seen it. The man who wants power too much exposes himself. His hunger makes him predictable. He begs to be manipulated by anyone who can offer what he desires. But the one who seems ambitious, yet feels nothing inside, cannot be controlled. He is an actor playing a role in a theater of fools. They believe his performance, he controls the stage. This is the essence of Machiavellian calm, to be seen as driven but untouched by desire. Consider Alexander the Great. He conquered empires before 30. But look closely. He was not always the most skilled or the most intelligent. He was the most intoxicating. He appeared driven beyond mortal limits, and men followed that image. They mistook performance for passion. And that illusion built an empire. Yet behind that fury was strategy. His conquests were not random. They followed trade routes, political fractures, psychological patterns of fear. He used the mask of ambition to hide the mechanism of control. That is your lesson. Let the world see your fire, but never let it burn you. Detachment is not apathy, it is supremacy over emotion. It is the ability to act with intensity while remaining inwardly still. The appearance of drive draws people in, the reality of calm keeps you untouchable. Think of your daily world. In business, in relationships, in the subtle wars of social power. You are surrounded by people desperate to prove themselves. They overact. They overshare. They overcommit. They show the very weaknesses you must conceal. So you give them what they want to seize, a rival chasing the same dream. You mirror their ambition, their hunger, their speed. But inside, you remain ice. You measure, you wait, you strike when it serves you. Not when emotion demands it. This duality, appearance and detachment, is how power moves undetected. The surface deceives, the core commands. History worships intensity, but it is composure that decides who lasts. The passionate burn out, the detached adapt. And in the long game, adaptation always wins. Detachment gives you vision. While others drown in their urgency, you see the broader pattern. The shifting alliances, the hidden motives, the emotional traps. You move like a chess player, watching opponents fight over a single pawn, unaware that you already control the board. When you learn to act driven without being ruled by drive, people misread you. They project emotion onto your silence. They call you mysterious, intimidating, disciplined. But what they really feel is your distance. The quiet gravity of someone who cannot be moved. This is psychological dominance at its purest form. To let others interpret your actions while you interpret their reactions. In relationships, this manifests as magnetism. In politics as authority. In negotiation as leverage. A calm mind wears the illusion of urgency only to pull others into its rhythm. And once they dance to your pace, you no longer compete, you conduct. But this requires practice. Detachment must be built, not claimed. You must train yourself to act amid chaos without identifying with it. To feel emotion, but never kneel before it. This is not suppression, it's transformation. Emotion becomes data, ambition becomes disguise. Drive becomes performance. And when you master that performance, the world believes what you choose to display. You will be praised for your passion, admired for your determination, envied for your focus, all while knowing that inside you are cold as a strategist's blade, moving not from feeling, but from precision. Even your failures become tools. Because the detached mind does not collapse, it recalculates. It does not ask, why me? It asks, what advantage hides in this loss? To appear driven, yet stay detached, is to command two worlds, the outer theater of perception and the inner chamber of control. The masses choose one. They burn for approval or retreat into indifference. The strategist merges both. He performs with fire and plans with ice. And that is how influence is built without effort. Because nothing bends the world more than a man who acts like he needs it, yet secretly knows he does not. Now, if you can hold your ambition without letting it hold you, you're ready for the final law. Because once emotion cannot move you, you must learn to move others through emotion. Power in its purest form is simple. It does not overthink. It does not plan in circles. It waits, observes, and strikes. That is the simplicity of the predator. You were taught that power requires endless effort. Visions, goals, affirmations, strategies written on whiteboards. But look at nature. The lion does not schedule his hunt. He does not set motivational targets. He studies the wind, watches the herd, and moves when the moment is right. One strike, one decision, one victory. The predator's strength is not in constant motion. It's in the discipline of stillness. Humans, on the other hand, drown in noise. They chase illusions of productivity, confusing movement for mastery. They are always running, yet going nowhere. Their need to act is their greatest weakness. A predator knows better. He acts only when the odds bend in his favor. He wastes nothing. No emotion, no energy, no motion. That is why the predator always rules the prey not through speed, but through clarity. Consider the great conquerors of history. The generals who built empires were not constantly fighting. They were waiting. They let their enemies exhaust themselves, then appeared as if by fate. Julius Caesar crossed the Rubicon not in passion, but in precision. He struck when Rome was divided, when fear and greed created the perfect wound. That is not luck. It's predatory timing. Ask yourself, when was the last time you waited for your moment instead of chasing one? When was the last time you let others reveal their weakness before you moved? Most people are emotional hunters. They attack when they feel ready, not when reality is ready. And so they lose to those who remain patient in silence. Power belongs to those who know how to stalk opportunity, not demand it. But this simplicity is rare because it requires restraint. It demands the death of ego. It requires the patience to let things unfold naturally while appearing indifferent. You cannot fake this calm. You must train it. You must learn to sit in uncertainty without flinching, to watch others move without the need to follow. That is when you become dangerous. Psychologically, the predator's simplicity is terrifying because it's unreadable. The prey relies on patterns. It expects repetition, emotion, movement. When faced with silence, it panics. When faced with stillness, it makes mistakes. The predator knows this. He weaponizes patience. He uses time as a blade. You must do the same. In conversation, silence is power. While others rush to fill the air, you wait. Their words expose them. Their emotions betray them. The more they speak, the more you know. The less you say, the more they fear. In negotiation, the same principle applies. The one who seems eager loses leverage. But the one who appears calm, detached, and unhurried forces the other side to chase. Predators do not chase, they draw. Even in relationships, emotional or professional, the rule remains. The one who acts least controlled by need controls the dynamic entirely. Desire blinds, Composure dominates. You see, the predator's mind is not empty, it's focused. He is aware of everything, the smallest shifts, the hidden motives, the patterns in behavior, but he reveals none of it. He lets others assume he's passive, unaware. Then, when they relax, he strikes. And when he does, it looks effortless. Because true power does not announce itself. It reveals itself only in results. You must unlearn the cult of effort. Stop chasing constant validation. Stop trying to prove how hard you work, how much you care, how deeply you strive. That noise exposes you. It tells the world you are still prey. Be silent. Be still. Be strategic. Move with the rhythm of inevitability, never desperation. When others react, you should calculate. When others explain, you should observe. When others rush, you should wait for the inevitable collapse of their impatience. Because every impulsive person eventually hands their power to the one who can wait. The simplicity of the predator is not physical. It's psychological. It's the power of knowing exactly when not to act. And when that moment finally arrives, when every variable aligns and resistance collapses, you move once. Clean. Final. That is the difference between noise and domination, between effort and control, between man and master. The predator does not chase opportunity. He creates silence until opportunity must come to him. So ask yourself, are you still hunting like the prey, always in motion, always loud, always hungry? Or have you learned to stand so still that everything weak must reveal itself before you? Because when you master that stillness, when your moves become few but fatal, you no longer live in the world of men. You move in the world of power. Control is never taken by force. It is given through perception. The powerful do not command loudly. They whisper through circumstance, through emotion, through the quiet architecture of influence. True manipulation is invisible. It feels like freedom to the one being controlled. They walk willingly into your design, believing it was their idea all along. That is the highest form of power. To shape minds without confrontation, to guide choices without demand, to bend will without ever appearing to touch it. So reflect on this. Do you move through life as the sculptor or as the clay? Do you command attention or merely crave it? Every interaction is a contest of control. Most just don't realize they've already lost. If you understand that, you are already among the few. Now, share your thoughts below. Subscribe for more lessons in strategy, psychology, and silent power. And share this video, so others may believe they are learning influence, while you are learning to wield it.